We're coming towards the end of FIFA 22, and if you are still playing after purchasing this game from the very first day, it's fair to say that you are a dedicated fan, and you know what's good and also what's bad with FUT. And today we will be going through some of the worst things within FIFA 22 Ultimate Team. But before we do get into the video, if you're looking to get some very easy coins, then it is no better place than Mule Factory. Head over there to get yourself some cheap, fast coins, completely reliable, and if you use Fnatic5 at checkout, you will also get yourself a 5% discount. Link can be found in the description down below. Getting back into the video. Now for this, the worst things within FUT, we're not actually going to be covering too much within gameplay. This is simply because whenever there's someone who complains about gameplay, there's always someone else who argues that the gameplay mechanic isn't the problem, it's just you're a bad FIFA player. And that is certainly the case with me. So to get around all of this, I've listed things which are undeniably flawed within FIFA 22, whether it be a big problem or something small that's just incredibly irritating. So first thing is the draw rage quits. Of course, this is going to be within this list. This irritates me more than pretty much everything within this game because it comes down to incompetence. Incompetence from EA around game design. This time last year, when EA was revealing all the information, the hype was starting to build for FIFA 22, and they started to talk about how they've broken down FUT champions into playoffs and the weekend league. We recorded videos. We went through the ins and outs explaining everything because there was quite a bit of confusion right to the beginning. In those videos, I did say something along the lines of there will be a lot more rage quits because right there in front of us, we were able to see that you can get points for winning as well as losing. Of course, at the time, we did say that this isn't 100% confirmed because from that point, they can change anything all the way up until the release, and just being able to change a point system is very easy. But still, within those videos, I said something along the lines of, I hope EA are implementing systems in place to encounter for the many rage quits that will happen. And of course, we now know that they didn't. It's the exact same system as what we've had since the beginning of Ultimate Team, where if someone rage quits, they still get the loss, but nothing actually counts for you. That game, it didn't even matter. It still takes away your contracts, and back in the day, it used to take away your attribute cards and your fitness, but it doesn't give you the win. It's such a small thing that wasn't accounted for by EA, but it makes it so much more irritating when loads of games this year haven't added to anything because the opponent has quit within the final minutes. When it was 1-1, 0-0, 2-2, whatever it is, it's a draw, they quit, the game doesn't count. Or worse, you get gifted a penalty within the 90th minute and your opponent quits and the game ends like it never even happened within the first place. The second issue, and this comes off the back of this, is draws within division rivals. In some cases, depending where you currently place, a draw gives you the exact same result as a loss. If you manage to push through divisions, you manage to hit a checkpoint, and for the next game you draw, it counts as the exact same as you losing. You can't go forward because you didn't get any points, you can't go backwards because you're sat on a checkpoint, but you do lose your winning streak, which is the exact same as if you were to go and lose that game. I honestly don't know why EA are trying to reinvent the wheel. We could have easily had a points-based system where you get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and -3 points for a loss. We can still have the exact same layout with division rivals, the checkpoints, the actual point system, actually progressing through divisions, how we have milestones, everything could be exactly the same. The only difference now is that when you draw a game, you can still get a point out of it, and you still class as being undefeated as you're technically still on your run. You haven't lost the game yet. That will be removed once you do finally lose. The next issue, and this may split your opinion depending which side you stand on, but it is the cheap market. This is a good thing if you see it as there being a lower barrier to entry. You can get great players for a fraction of the price. Trading is also easier because you can move on to bigger players a lot quicker, and of course you can reach your goal a lot faster. The reason why this can be seen as a bad thing, and the reason that is on this list, is because it does mean whenever you do get any rewards, especially when it's round packs, if you do get anyone good, it doesn't matter. They're going for next to nothing. It actually lowers the value of you spending real money on FIFA points because the FIFA points get the exact same amount of packs as what it's been able to do for since the beginning of time, But unfortunately, now your pack reward is valued a lot less compared to anything else, with percentages, even though they change on a daily basis, you still have a very low chance of getting anyone above a certain rating, someone good. And we saw this at the beginning of FIFA 22. Players such as Harry Kane and Lewandowski within the first week of FIFA were going for around 30 to 50k depending which platform you bought them on. And right at the beginning, these are some of the highest rated players within the game. Lewandowski, being 92 rated, is the second highest rated rare gold player, and right within those first couple of weeks, if you packed him, you wouldn't be rewarded like he was this type of player, despite him being one of the hardest players that you would be able to pack within those first couple of weeks. Now, of course, this does all depend which side you stand on, because it does also mean that Lewandowski has a much lower barrier to entry if you was able to go and build your coins up and just buy into him. So it does all depend on what type of player you are. Next issue is gameplay feels better on previous gen compared to next gen, and that just shouldn't be the case. This is, of course, with hypermotion. I would say that right at the beginning of the year, from what I remember, I did like the new gameplay. I was even invited to the FIFA 22 beta and I actually enjoyed it. There was a few things that I didn't like, which still actually crossed over to the full game when it was released, but I did like being able to switch the ball, the touches, the dribbling, everything with hypermotion. I felt like I saw an improvement. But after that first patch, just like every other FIFA, it absolutely destroyed it, and from that moment, there was loads of players saying that previous gen was better than next gen. And that's when I had to give it a try, and it was. It seemed like with hypermotion, it added an extra second delay to pretty much everything. And with previous gen not having hypermotion, that just means that there is that 1 second delay which isn't there. Now, of course, during the weekend league, there is still a lot of problems across both platforms, especially on Sunday when gameplay just turns to absolute crap. Everything is sluggish, it's incredibly slow, it's just not good. But even in those situations, it felt like gameplay was still slightly better on previous gen than what it was on next gen. And the final complaint that I have with this video, and even though this is the final one of the video, there's still a lot more out there, so let me know some of the things that you hate the most about FIFA 22 within the comment section down below. But for me, it is the second man press or second man contain. With this, it's a good mechanic. There's loads of videos out there from pro players who tell their viewers, which is me, exactly how to go and use this within their game, and it is something that can make your defending a hell of a lot better. And since using it to track the attacking player and then getting a second player to cut the passing lanes, it has helped me. I am a better defender because of it. But here is my problem. It's slow to react. In a lot of cases, you press the button, the green cursor will show above the player's head, which is selected, but it will take 2 to 3 seconds for that player to register it's been selected to move forward. Depending on the actual animation, and this yet again can come into our previous point of gameplay feeling unresponsive within next-gen consoles. If a defender is running backwards towards their goal and you go and press this button, that player will carry on running backwards. It takes a couple seconds for it to register, possibly even longer when it is bad, sluggish Sunday weekend league gameplay. Now, this wouldn't be a problem, but there is also a 10-second timer counting down before you need to use a different player for second man contain. If EA are looking to always have this mechanic stuck to a 10-second timer, that's fine, but I expect it to be near enough instant. From the second that I press that button, I want that player sprinting to where I want it to be and containing that player, rather than being 3 to 4 seconds of them just slowly walking to where they need to be, and then 6 seconds of just trying to catch up at that point because the attacking player has already moved. The other option is that we can completely remove the 10-second timer and have it unlimited, and then still have it the way that it currently is, where it isn't as responsive, but then you do have unlimited time. Either way, with both of these, with a bit of balancing, it shouldn't be overpowered. But this is only just one of my issues with it. The other issue that I have is that it doesn't always select the closest player. You can have a midfielder which is closer to the attacking player, and this game will still select a defender for you to run forward. Yet again, making matters worse for that previous point. If it's already taken 2 to 3 seconds for a defender to run and contain the attacker, it becomes even more of a problem when it's not selecting the closest player. At that point, it's going to take an extra 1 to 2 seconds, depending where players are located, for them to move out of their position when you could have selected someone a hell of a lot closer. At this point, we've wasted half of our time which we're given to actually move one of our defending players just to press the attacking player. This mechanic is a good one to have within game. Loads of people use it and say good things about it, but there are those two main issues which players bring up quite often. Anyway guys, those are just some of the worst things within FIFA 22. Of course, there's loads more out there which is just irritating. I can't believe EA haven't fixed it for FIFA 22. So let me know all the things that you dislike about this game within the comment section down below. Anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going to see ya.